Good morning, this is Mrs. Webb. This lesson's pretty easy, and this is like my 5th take. I'm not doing it again, so if I make a mistake, I'm just going to go with it. This is, before we talked about two-way tables, and now we're going to talk about how you represent things in a Venn diagram. And then if you have that Venn diagram, how you can determine the union and the intersection and the complements of events. So it's just a different way of representing things. And let's see if we can get that going. Let me make sure I got my pen. Okay. I'm also going to break this up. I think I told you into 2 videos. So let's start by showing you how this information would be displayed on a Venn diagram. They give you all this information. 442 students participate in organized sports but do not play in the band. So if I have S as all the ones that play in organized sports, let me get a pen, I would put this 442 over here. If I have 31 students that play in the band, but they do not participate in organized sports, that would go over here. Then I have 21 students that play in sports and in the band, it's 21. Then I have 339 students. They do not participate in organized sports or in the band, and you're going to put these in the rectangle out here. How many? Okay, that's how you would represent that information as a Venn diagram. Let's see what else we can do. If we wanted to use this Venn diagram and tell me how many students participate in organized sports, well, it would be everybody in the circle, which means it would be 442 plus 21, 463. And look how you normally put that in there. That's how you normally do that in a Venn diagram. So you have a little arrow out here to the circle telling you 463 is in the total number. Also, if you want to know how many students play in the band, you have to add the ones that are not in sports and the ones that are also in sports, and you would get 52, and this is how you usually would represent it, like that. Okay, you have 339 students. It says how many students do not participate in organized sports? Well, you got 339 that are in neither one. But if you add it up, so that's your big circle there. You added up the ones that are out here, and you added the ones that are in the band but not in sports, then you would get the total to be 370. Okay. And you could, we don't normally do anything like that, but you could put 370 if you wanted to. Okay. Oh, I forgot one. If you want to know how many students participate in organized sports or play in the band, then you're adding 442, 21, and 31, and you're going to get 494. Okay. So when you use a Venn diagram, it's pretty nice to be able to see things, but you need to make sure you understand how they're visually representing that. Okay, the other thing that we do with Venn diagrams is we will go and shade particular regions to point out things. In this example, they're going to use the big S as students that play soccer, the big B as students that play basketball, and then this rectangle represents all the students in the school. Okay, so they want to say, can you come in here and shade the correct regions? The students who play soccer would be everybody in the S. The students who do not play soccer, well, let's see. I know it's all these band people that do not play soccer, but guess what? It's the rest of the population as well. Because none of them, they don't play band or sports. Oh, basketball, sorry, I'm getting my B's mixed up. Okay, students who play soccer, and here's that and guy. And means both of them have to be true, so it's where they overlap. Now, if you want to do an or statement, that means either one has to be true, and that one is going to be this. Everybody here in both the two circles. Okay, so that's how with shading you can represent different information in a Venn diagram. Okay, let's look at this one. This is another one, and now they're going to do an online bookstore. F is the number of fiction books. E is the number of ebooks. The rectangle represents all the books in the bookstore. So if I was going to shade these words, books that are available as ebooks. Okay, so that's the entire circle. They could be fiction, they can be nonfiction. It's going to be everybody here. Okay, books that are not works of fiction. Well, I know it's all these right here that are ebooks, that not, but it says books that are not works of fiction. It also includes all the other books in the bookstore as well. Okay, books that are work of fiction and available. Both of those must be true, and this is the only region where both are true. Okay, books that are works of fiction or either one can be true. So they could be a work of fiction or they could be an ebook. Just one of them's got to be true. Okay, books that are neither works of fiction nor available as ebooks. Well, that's everybody else that's in the bookstore. Everybody else that's in the bookstore. Okay, books that are works of fiction that are not available as ebooks. Well, this circle represents everybody that's works of fiction, but it can't be ebooks, means I can't include that little section right there. Okay? So hopefully that helps on how you would use shading to represent different things with a Venn diagram. Okay, you can also show numbers of possible outcomes and probabilities in a Venn diagram. So let's see how they would do that. I'm going to go back to the pen. Complete the Venn diagram below by writing the number of students in the various regions of the diagram. So let's see what they tell us. Suppose there are 230 students that play soccer. So remember I showed you in that first one, if you know everything in that circle, I'm going to do it like that. And I have 190 that play basketball. I'm going to do it like that. And I have 60 students that play both sports. That is all the info. Oh, nope, we got one more. 500 students at the school. There's 500 total at the school. So I'm going to put 500 out here. Okay. Now, if I want to know how many students play basketball, but not soccer, well, I know total is 190, but they do not play soccer. I would have 130. And now I can fill in this circle right there. Suppose a student will be selected at random from the school. What's the probability that the selected student plays both sports? Well, it would have to be 60 because they told us that. But the total number of students is 500. So it would be 60 divided by 500. Let me get my calculator out. It's going to be 0.12. Or you could say 12%. Okay, complete the Venn diagram below by writing the probabilities associated with the various regions of the diagram. Well, they told us this one, we got this 130, we calculated that one up above. 60. We know this one's 230. We know this one is 190. To get how many are over here, I would have to say 230 minus 60, and I would get 170. Okay, it says that there are a total of 500 students at the school. Well, if there's 500 students, I would have to subtract off, let's see, I'd have to subtract off the, I could do it as 170. That would be everybody over here. And then this one I think I'll do 190. Or you could think of it as minus 60 minus 130. Okay, and I'm going to get 140. So now I can put it inside the rectangle as 140. Okay. Okay, what's this one? Adding and subtracting probabilities. So I actually did it, I think, on the slide before, didn't I? Nope, that one's different. Let's look at this one, example 3. Let me clear it, and we'll start. Think again about the online bookstore. In exercise 1, suppose 62% of the books are works of fiction. So I can put this here at 62%. And ebooks are at 47%. And 14% are available as ebooks, but not works of fiction. So that 14% would go over here. A book will be selected at random, and they want us to figure some things out. And I think I have that diagram on the next page. Yep, I showed you how that, so we could look at that while we figured this out. So if I want to know what is the probability the book is a work of fiction, that's the big circle, and available as an ebook. So I'm really looking for this area right here. Okay. If I want to figure out that area right there, I know the whole circle is 0.47. If I subtract off that 0.14, I'm going to get 0.33. Awesome. Okay. So it would be 0.33. It's a work of fiction and available as an ebook. Okay? Let's go with the next one. I want to know the probability that neither F nor E, neither one. Well, if I want to know neither one, these are probabilities. I know 100%. That would be 100% would be all the books. But I need to know how many are in this area so I can subtract it off. To figure that one out, I have to do 0.62 minus that 0.33. And I would get, let's see, let me get my calculator out, a 0.29. Okay, now if I wanted to know the total that was out here, I would say it's neither F nor E. I would say 100% or 1, and I'd have to subtract off 0.29. So here, let's put this in parentheses. 0.29 plus 0.33 plus 0.14. And I would get 0.24 or 24%. So when I come over here, I would put this right here. Okay? So do you see how we did that? And probability, you can either do it as a decimal, which would be 0.33, but a lot of times when we're talking, we say 33%. Either one will work. Okay, let's go to the next one. Okay, the next one says, oh, do you remember those two-way tables? So what I did was I copied the Venn diagram that we just filled out so that I could see it. And I want to fill out this one, that two-way table. And we're going to do, remember it's hypothetical of 1,000, and we do that for a reason, so it's really easy to fill out the table. And let me see. Let me go to that one really quick. Okay. What we do know is we know, let's see, the total number of fiction books, right? So the total number of fiction books is that 0.62. So I would write in 620 right there. So that's the total number of fiction books. Let's see, I also know the total number of ebooks. That would be right here. Okay. I also know, so that's how I filled in the 0.62, 0.47. Okay, I also know how many are available, let's see, as an ebook, but are not works of fiction. That is the 140, that part right there. I also know the number of works that are fiction, but are not available as ebooks. So I know it's a fiction work, but it's not available as an ebook. So those are the parts of the two-way table that I can fill in by looking at my Venn diagram. Okay? Now can you go in and fill in the rest? You know 620 has to be added to something to get to 1,000. You know that it has to go, the rows have to go this way and the columns. You know that 620 minus 290 is going to give you this one right here. Okay, so let's do that. 620 minus 290 and I get 330. And I know 330 and 140 is 470. Okay, I need some more information here. If I have 1,000 books and 620 are fiction, if they're not fiction, it would be 1,000 minus 620 for 380. Okay, now I can fill this one in. 380 minus 140 gives me 240. Okay, now I can go across this row and I can fill this one in. It's 530, or it could have also done 1,000 minus 470. Do you remember those two-way tables? Okay, now if I wanted to show you a two-way table with probabilities, it's very similar. I'm just going to use my numbers from up there. That's a 4. And this is always 1. So do you see how these work? It says, how do the probabilities in your table refer to the probabilities in part A? They're exactly the same. So you can do two-way tables based on the 1,000 books, or you can do it on probability as well. And can you see how the two-way table corresponds to the Venn diagram? That's what they're trying to get you to see, that you can do it either way, and it's really helpful if you want to calculate probabilities. Okay, and I filled it out for you. Okay, I'm going to switch to video 2. So let me switch to video 2. I'm going to come over here.